we see some people. I'm waiting on people to hit the chat for the one time. If you're here already and you're not in the chat, welcome to another episode, the 30th episode of All Elite with Keeks. I am here with one of Grab Soda's own. If you don't like me, you don't like Phil. If you don't like Phil, you don't like me. You know what I'm saying? It's either or one of us. As people say, the two most stubborn. What they called us, they done called us Uncle Tom's, all types of stuff because we are AEW fans and we are here. Here with Phil with Grab Soda. I know Phil, he speaks for himself, so it's a honor for you to be on my show today. You know, how you doing, Phil?
Is it really episode 30?
Yep.
Wow. I don't know if you knew this, but my birthday is June 30th, so it's kind of perfect.
It works. So I said, "My God, it's Phil."
My man Vin Forte in the chat. It is dope every time I see you pop up, man, because it's a lot of accusations at one point that, you know, black folks wasn't watching AEW, man. So every time I see black podcasters that actually enjoy AEW, I'm just like, I don't know, man. Maybe it might be false accusations, man.
We in here. We here. If we Uncle Tom's, I guess we're Uncle Tom's for liking AEW. I don't know. I haven't did anything Uncle Tomish, but hey, if that's what it is, that because we like AEW, I guess that's what it is. Oh, accusations. Welcome everybody. If you in the chat, we do have Phil on here. Y'all know my rules of the chat. We keep it respectful with all my guests. We keep it respectful with all the women in the chat and all my guests. If you have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. If you feel like you want to get out, you know, you want to be that person on my chat, you already know you get up out of here. We don't do that, okay? Welcome here with Black History Month. Happy Black History Month. We're going to get into some things. We're going to get into the Dynamite, Rampage, Women Business, and this month I am doing Black Business of the Week as well, highlighting some Black businesses in the local area, especially in Texas. So, what's good, everybody? So we're gonna get into it. I know me and Phil it's gonna be a respectful, friendly debate because y'all know Phil is Team CM Punk and I am Team Elite. They didn't do nothing wrong.
Yeah. The funny thing is, I've seen people that like have seen us go back and forth when I was active on Twitter, and they thought we were like really mad at each other. I'm like, nah, we just talking, man. There's no issues, man.
Y'all got Chicago and Dallas. You know, we all talk shit. So he just talking shit. I'm just talking shit, and that's just how we vibe like that. It's nothing.
That's right. You are in Dallas.
Yeah, we get each other.
That's right, you are in Dallas. I seen Kyrie getting out the car, looking like he just did a bid, coming to Dallas.
I'm still like I'm happy, but I'm kind of scared at the same time because I gotta see it. I gotta see the dynamic between Luka and Kyrie. Kyrie, now we ain't gonna look at no Hebrews nothing. So. We gonna have Luka gonna take you to Rudy's Chicken and call it a day, okay? Southside Chicago feel.
Appreciate you. I also was laughing because was that you that sent me that message? It was like, what is that dance called in like the TikTok video?
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, I just still think it's crazy that people are still footworking in 2023, but it's Chicago. I have never known how to footwork. I've always been a stand on the wall guy and hype other people up. Never known how to do it. Yes,
people in the chat. My mom, as y'all know, is a big Eagles fan, and it's their week, and she swears she going on the field with them. So, yeah, unfortunately, the flag is back up, y'all. Sorry, nothing I could do. It's. Yeah, they was doing footwork in the snow and it had me in a chokehold on TikTok. That's all I was watching. I was just going deep in the threads and I'm like, I'm trying to learn it and I'm like, okay, I can't do it. It's meant for them. I can't do it.
Yeah, that one with those two chicks doing the grocery store had me on the floor, man. I don't know what that was supposed to be, but that shit's hilarious.
Okay, so we gonna get started on the Dynamite review. We gonna pop it off. It started off with Jon Moxley versus Adam Page. I actually like I said last week, I do like this feud between Adam Page and Jon Moxley. What is your thoughts on Jon Moxley and Hangman Page?
I think it's been great. I like the storyline they're doing. I think this was probably the best match they've had so far. Um, and I figured they weren't going to do a decisive finish because we're probably getting a rubber match at the pay-per-view.
Yeah, probably a Texas Death Match, I think.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a stipulation match. I'm just not sure what yet. I mean, they've been building it around knocking each other out, maybe last man standing. I don't know.
I'm feeling it. But I did see the tension between Adam Page and also the rest of the BBC, BCC.
Yeah. Not the risk of. No.
Sorry, y'all. I do like the three stages. Yes. I do like this feud between them two. They're both getting the best out of one another. So yeah, we're gonna see them at Revolution. Do you think it will lead further than Revolution, or what's your?
Nah, I think it's probably going to be over after Revolution. I can't see them stretching this out for another month.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then after that, we ended up having the Acclaimed end up being in action. They came out with they was wrestling against I didn't see who they was wrestling against. It was like basically like a squash match, but it was interrupted by the Guns, and they issued a challenge with the Acclaim for the tag team championship belt, and Acclaim denied it, but Billy said the challenge is on. So I feel like in a way he's still looking out for his sons as well as still being a mentor to the Acclaim. And it's kind of, it's pulling him, like, he's getting pulled because he's still trying to be a father, but at the same time, I'm being a mentor. So it's like, do you think that he's going to end up turning on the Acclaim again? Or what do you think that this will lead to?
I'm conflicted because I kind of feel like he's going to turn on them, but I also could see them. I could also see them beating the Acclaim and him just figuring out after the fact that he got duped, because he essentially got tricked into allowing them to challenge for the titles. But I can't figure out if he did that on purpose or they just tricked him. It seems like they just tricked him. I feel like this is probably the best the Guns have done so far. I don't know, for whatever reason, I bought into Austin when he made the pill reference, and then Billy came running back in the ring, and you could see him like physically quivering and stuff when he was like, "Look at me." I thought that was great, but that was the most I've enjoyed a Gun segment in a minute.
Do you Austin is that the one that looked more like Billy Gunn? I keep getting them confused. Which one is the one that looks more like Billy Gunn that actually
Austin,
has the?
Austin's the shorter, younger one. Colton's the taller one.
Okay. I like Austin. I feel like Austin has the physique, and also he's good at talking, and he's good in the ring. So I actually see him. He stands out a little bit more than the taller one.
Yeah,
in my opinion. Magnum and Turbo. Wow. Okay, y'all. I didn't mean to say that. I was trying to think of their name in my head, but I wasn't trying to say that. Y'all nasty. And then after that, we had the segment between the Elite, and also you had Ethan Page, Matt Hardy, and Isaiah Kennedy. And I said last week, it's unfortunate that the other member of the private party, he keeps, he's injury prone. So they are continuing on with the with Isaiah Kennedy, which I feel like he is more of the star in the tag team. So who is that? If you Banks, get this them
message.
yeah, we ain't trying to, no, we ain't doing that, sir. So I feel like he is the star, and what stood out with that segment is, of course, him moaning in Kenny Omega's ear, which was so funny to me.
I think what kills me every time I've seen it is right after he does it, Ethan Page just goes nice, like instantly nice.
Because he did it to Ethan Page at one point. It's just like, what the fuck? And it was me. Malcolm Stokely was trying not to laugh, and of course Matt Hardy ended up kind of smirking a little bit.
Yeah, no, it was great. That and whatever Matt Jackson was wearing, this dude had on like a double XL FUBU jersey. What was that? Like, you see this baseball jersey he had on?
He was dressed like 2004. That would have been popping if it was 2004.
Yeah, for sure.
That would have been hot if it was 2004. Nick was so confused. Everybody was confused. Shit, Kenny was confused. Because it was just funny to me because Kenny leaned forward because he really thought he was about to say something, like he about to say something intense, and then he did that, like, what the?
Yeah, that screenshot of everybody's reaction to it is hilarious.
It's so funny. And like I've been saying, Isaiah Kennedy is definitely standing out because, of course, he has the blog, the YouTube blog, and that's funny. The last one I saw was when he was at home for Christmas. I thought that was so hilarious, where he was playing musical chairs with his cousins and things like that. So I feel like they're just going to continue moving forward with Isaiah Kennedy for a solo talent more than a tag talent.
Yeah, I think they got to keep him on TV more because I do think he's really good, but I do think Private Party has kind of lost a lot of steam that they had in that first year.
Yeah.
And it's partially because, they've had injuries, but at the same time, like, I don't know, when you look at what they've done with Top Flight, I feel like they've done a better job of keeping Top Flight on TV when one of them's injured.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I would like to see them do the same thing with Isaiah.
Okay. I agree with you. I'm waiting till we get to the point where we disagree because I know it's coming up. And then we had, after that, we had Soup. I call him Soup because I pronounced his last name wrong because my accent, versus Brian Cage. What do you think so far of Takashida's run in AEW? Because I feel like he's a phenomenal new talent in AEW.
Takeshita is special, man. Like, I feel like he did a lot of things in this match where I'm just like, this dude is amazing. That reversal he did into that Blue Thunder bomb was just amazing. I mean, the German he did as well. I mean, Brian Cage is a big dude. To just lift him up and do that stalling German, that looked amazing. And I think he's getting better and better at the backstage segments and stuff.
Yeah.
I know that the MJF segment was controversial because, reasons, of course, using the disco stuff on TV wasn't going to work with everybody. But I think that it worked in that it got people to go, Takeshita's over, regardless if he speaks Japanese or if he speaks English.
Yeah.
And I feel like the crowd is just so into him no matter what he does that it just doesn't matter. So I like the way they've brought him along. I like that they're adding him to the Bryan storyline as well. And I'm looking forward to the match next week.
Okay. Me too. Because who is he facing next week?
MJF.
Oh,
right. It's an eliminator match.
That's right. The champion is finally getting the wrestle. Okay.
Man, you gotta give Brian Cage his credit too, man. I think a lot of people wrote Brian Cage off when they took him off TV, but he's been amazing ever since he's been back on TV. All of his matches have been hitting.
Brian Cage has, and I'm not the biggest Brian Cage fan, but I cannot deny what he has been doing since he's returned. He's doing everything that people, been looking forward to for Miro. So me, honestly. So I'm just like, yeah. And then, of course, Jericho recently said that he needs to be signed to AEW again. So we should see how that goes. I feel like they will probably need him more at ROH.
Yeah, it seems like they're building him up for something with ROH. And, I feel like that's the reason they put him with Nana. That's why he's got the 6-man title. So I feel like he's going to do more in Ring of Honor.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, y'all in the chat. The chat is Team Phil right now.
Appreciate it.
And all right, let's get into it. So we got to talk about the upcoming Gauntlet match. Some people, I've seen what you said, and I've said what I've said today. The Gauntlet match, basically, you have Garcia and also Sammy. They are issuing this Gauntlet match with Ricky Starks and also Action Andrade. And basically, we know that it's leading up to a Jericho and Ricky Starks at Revolution. We know it's leading up to that. The argument that's been happening is this feud is pointless prior to what I have been saying. So I'm going to let Phil go first because I know it's people that feel like what Phil is saying and it's people feel like what I'm saying. So we going to have it here now. So Phil, you said I saw you said it was pointless because Ricky Starks beat Jericho already. Can you elaborate a little bit more? And then I'll go after you.
Well, because I feel like the storyline should lead to the match, but I feel like they've kind of done it backwards. Like the match already happened, but now they're trying to build storyline off of a match where Ricky already beat him. And it's not just that. It's like you got two guys that beat him. You got him and Action Andretti in the same storyline, and they've both beat Jericho. But now they're still being dragged into this stuff. And I knew it was coming after he beat him and he got jumped after the match. I was like, please don't just keep this feud going. And so here we are. That was last year he beat Jericho, and we're still going with this. And I wouldn't even mind it so much, but the Gauntlet seems so similar to what they're doing with MJF and Bryan that I'm just like, why are we doing two kind of final boss things where you got to get through all of the stablemates to get to him? It just feels totally unnecessary. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I do think that if they do this right, Ricky versus Jericho at Revolution can be good, and it can be a big win for Ricky, but it just seems backwards to me, man.
Okay. Because people, now, from my perspective of what I'm saying, I get what you're saying as far as they doing it backwards. I think it started off that way because they just wanted to test that water first to see how the crowd will react to this type of feud. Once the crowd kind of reacted to it, then it's time to build a story with it. And like I said today on Twitter, the story has nothing to do with Ricky Starks per se. It's more on who can Jericho trust out of Sammy Guevara and Daniel Garcia if you're if people are paying attention. And I knew it was leading to that once Sammy Guevara gave him them damn leather pants to wrestle with. I'm like, okay, Sammy Guevara is trying to kind of purposely sabotage Daniel Garcia because all the attention Jericho was giving Daniel Garcia during the whole entertainment and sports real wrestling storyline that they had against William Regal and them. So they're picking up from that and using it to this storyline, which I understand. I understand it don't make sense. But at the same time, I'm looking at it as we get to see Ricky Starks on TV. He's wrestling every week on TV, which people demanded because they was tired of seeing him just beating jobbers. They wanted him against a quote unquote serious person, which it don't get no greater than Jericho. So I'm looking at it as we're all about to get what we want by Revolution because people wanted Daniel Garcia not part of the Jazz. People wanted Jericho also to see that Sammy Guevara is not that guy. And then, of course, people want Ricky Starks to have his win in a major pay-per-view. So I feel like we're about to get all of that in Revolution because, like I've been saying, Sammy Guevara has been letting Jericho down since last year. He's been letting him down continuously. That's a story right there. And I feel like eventually Jericho is going to see that you're not my right-hand man, because like I've said, when he started Jazz, the thing that he said in his promo was, these people appreciate me, they accept me, and they chose me as their leader. And Sammy Guevara has failed in all of that aspects since last year, and I think that's the real story in this whole feud. Ricky Starks and Action Andrade is just kind of putting it on the forefront that yo guys ain't your guys.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think my thing with Jericho, and I think Jericho probably had his best year with the company last year. I think the matches were hitting. I think the segments were better. His promos were better. But I still feel like his feuds just go on for too long. Like, I feel like he does these multi-match feuds where it's just like, we can cut this a little bit short. And I feel like the story with Garcia is prime example of this. I feel like the Garcia stuff has just kind of gone on too long, and it's kind of lost the plot. Because really, this is all kind of payoff to the main event match where Bryan and Garcia went against Jericho and Sammy, and Jericho and Sammy won that match, and at the end, JAS lifted Sammy up on his shoulders. That was the same night that Andrade got suspended. And so I feel like the payoff has been that Garcia went back to JAS after that because he looked like, man, maybe I made the wrong choice. Look where Sammy is. It worked for him. And now I think he's slowly figuring out, like, nah, Sammy's kind of a joke. And so I feel like that, I do agree that that's the story there, but I feel like it has gone on a little too long and the developments have come a little bit too slow.
Well, I know somebody had said earlier on my Twitter that they mentioned that Sammy knew that MJF would turn on Jericho and didn't say anything. Like, they used that as well. Like, it's different. They was just giving me different scenarios when Sammy is the weakest link in Jazz. I could yeah, so y'all know I'm a Jericho fan all day. But yes, I do agree with you, but we know that's TNT because Jericho is a household name. And so, it's like they already said it, Jericho and Sting, they got to be on TV regardless. I don't care what it is. They got to have a segment on TV. We got to put them on TV. So, unfortunately, and we know AEW only have 5 pay-per-views. Is it 4 or 5?
But I guess it's technically 5 if they run back Forbidden Door.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, technically 5. So we don't have a lot of pay-per-views, and we're kind of getting back to the habit of how we used to get things, where they used to, and it's been a while for us. Use it, got to deal with the storyline for months and months until the actual pay-per-view. So we kind of getting back to how it used to kind of be. So that's another thing. We haven't been patient in so long, and we finally, Tony Khan is allowing us to be a little patient, and we don't know what to do with ourselves. It's just like, no.
Well, I mean, Jericho was also tied up in the Ring of Honor stuff for months too. And so I feel like now he's going back to like just the main storylines with his stable. But that's why I'm saying like some of that stuff just took a little bit too long to get to the point. But it's also because they had to figure out the state of ROH in the meantime.
Yeah, that was another factor. So, So, I mean, I'm not like, nobody's wrong here, everybody. Nobody's wrong. Because I get what people are saying with, and then some of them, it has a lot to do with that y'all just don't like that Jericho's that nigga, and it's okay. That is a lot of them is that. I get it. Y'all don't like that. Some people just don't like Jericho. I get it. I understand. Whatever.
I personally don't dislike Jericho as a wrestling character. I think the stable and everything he's doing is good. I just do feel like sometimes people get pulled into what Twitter is calling the Jericho vortex, and it's like he starts this feud, and then you're in this feud for months, and then afterwards it's like, all right, well, Did any of that really lead to anything?
Well, I mean, in some ways, yes. Like this feud is it's not the same, but it's kind of similar to the 2019 with Adam Page, just a little bit. That's why I'm just gonna let it play out a little bit because it's kind of the same way that they did for Adam Page and also Jungle Boy in a sense. So yeah. I'm just gonna kind of let it play out, but it's just a good sign that they do see Ricky Starks being that guy. So that's why I'm just gonna let it play out and I'm gonna let it cook. I'm gonna try to let it cook, but I'm letting it cook because I do trust my GOAT. So I trust him. So that's
your GOAT?
Yeah. Since I was 6. Since I was 6 years old.
Somebody asked me on Twitter, and I didn't respond to it. I just kind of let it hang out there. What do I think is worse, the Codyverse or the Jericho Vortex? And I was just like,
You better say the right thing.
I don't know, man. Cody did give us a 5-star classic before he left.
With who?
I don't know. With Sammy Guevara. That ladder match was fire.
Sammy had some cool spots.
That ladder match was fire, though. I mean, I don't know, man. Cody's. I won't get into WWE stuff on this podcast, but Cody.
You can. We do it all the time. You can.
Cody's kind of been proving that he was right, and he's kind of that guy, man. I don't know.
It's crazy because, like I said the other day, I said the people that called him mid-Carter and all this other stuff, y'all are the biggest fans of him, and I think that is the most.
I always liked Cody. This isn't.
I know you always liked
Cody.
I'm just saying, like other people out here that's acting like Cody is the next John Cena. I'm like around a certain part when he was at AEW, y'all called him all kinds of names. Y'all called him mid-Carter. He was all this.
It was all kinds of crazy stuff being said about Cody after he cut that promo on oh my man, that's not even really on TV anymore. After the match, a Go-Go. After he had the feud of Go-Go, people were off Cody. That has definitely changed. It's night and day.
It's crazy. People they forgot that they said bad things about Cody on their shows and all of that other stuff. Now they don't. Biggest Cody advocates I've ever seen. I like it though. I like it. I'm like, well, at least y'all get to eat y'all words, because even though like I said, he wrote that Young Bucks coattail, but it got him where he needed to be. So
you really think he wrote that coattails though?
Of course he did.
I will say this, as somebody that went to All In, I think one of the biggest moments from that night was Cody winning the NWE title, and that had nothing to do with them. I think he quietly had one of the best matches of the night, other than the other match that we cannot speak of, where Okada wrestled a certain British guy.
Name that shall not be named.
Really, really good match, by the way. That was actually my favorite match of that night. But
I was always a Goldust fan more than I was Cody Rhodes, but I never disliked Cody Rhodes. I just like Cody Rhodes is good. He could be better. He's just always was missing something with me. I'm like, he's just missing something. I don't know what it is, but him being in the Indies did help him a lot. Just like Drew McIntyre, him being in the Indies helped him a lot too. And then I also appreciate what Cody Rhodes said when he was on Logan's Paul podcast when he was speaking on the Indies. Because people like to shit on the Indies, but the Indies made a lot of your favorite stars who they are. You know what I'm saying?
I'm on the fence. We just talked about this on Grapsity on Saturday. I'm on the fence of, do I think that they were working when they were talking about that? Because there's several parts of it that leads right into what Seth Rollins was saying on IG Live, because he was like, nah, this dude's not a wrestler. He just wants to be famous. And so for him to get on there and say, I don't watch indie wrestling, it kind of made Rollins' point. And so I feel like it's helping to lead into the Rollins match of WrestleMania.
And then and the fact that he told him to watch some Will Ospreay. So I'm like, no, Logan Paul's about to attempt. I'm just letting you know now. You heard it here first. We about to see Logan Paul attempt Ospreay moves versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. Get ready for it.
He's 1,000% gonna try and hit Seth with an ice cutter.
It's get ready for it, y'all.
It's coming.
Get ready for it. Welcome everybody. If you just joining in, welcome. After that, we had the Bryan Danielson versus Timothy Thatcher match, who we all thought was British, and they told me that he is from California. That's crazy. That is crazy. I thought he was from overseas the entire time.
I did not know that. He definitely looks like one of the henchmen in a Bond movie. He does not look like an American.
He from the back. Like this, they said he from California. I'm like,
wait, he's really from the Bay?
Yeah. If you
Man,
get
out of here.
He's
out of here, bro.
Born and raised in California. He's not from. I thought he was British this entire time. I'm like,
Sacramento, UK. Yo, I did not know that, man. I would have guessed that he was from like Wales or like I don't know, man, Newcastle or something, man.
I said Sacramento. I said that he from California.
Yo, calling Thatcher a reverse 21 Savage is crazy.
The reverse 21 Savage. Okay, I saw mixed reactions for this match. Some people enjoyed it. Some people really didn't. They said that Bryan carried this match. Some said, no, y'all disrespectful. What did you personally think of this match?
I don't know why people thought that. I thought this was a good match. I thought it made perfect sense to go with a guy that was going to work the arm because Bryan injured the shoulder last week. And I thought Thatcher did a great job of kind of like being the heel here and making Bryan the babyface in parallel match. I thought it was good.
I did too. He was technical just as much as Bryan Danielson. I don't know what really people expected, but I thought it was just fine. I was like, oh, this was one of Bryan Danielson type matches that he would like to do. So I didn't really see why people were saying that Bryan Danielson carried this man. I'm like, no, he didn't. It was an equal. It was an equal thing. Even though I'm Bryan Danielson, you cannot retire until you wrestle Zack Sabre Jr. That's just like I have that fantasy booked in my head. You can't do nothing until you wrestle him first.
Yeah.
So, that's what I really want.
They messed up the dream match that I've wanted. That is not going to happen now because my man is in Impact now. So.
Who Impact?
Gresham.
Oh shit! Oh, he did wrestle him.
Gresham Bryan should have happened at some point, but it is what it is. But I thought this was right in Bryan's wheelhouse. I don't know why people would be like, this was a carry job. I don't know.
Vaughn, don't piss me off on her. Talk about Carrie Jericho.
Did you like all three of those Jericho matches with Bryan?
I like the last one better. The first two, I'm gonna let him make it because of his age, but he did bring it in the last one.
Yeah,
the last time.
That first one wasn't hidden, man. I was there for that match. It wasn't hidden, man.
He wasn't.
I do think they got better the first that they got into their feud, but that first match was just not.
It was cringy, and I was like, Jericho, just no, don't do that, because I'm gonna have to get the ice for you. Don't do it. But the last one that they did at the pay-per-view was better.
Yeah, I thought the match in Toronto was better. Yeah, I really think their last two matches were a lot better. Yeah,
it was a lot better. But we had this, and of course, this is setting up after this match happened. We did end up seeing MJF talking to Roosh. And I love Roosh. Y'all know how I feel about my Lucha Libre. He was talking to Roosh, and Roosh basically said, in translation, I'm gonna take this money, but I'm gonna beat your ass for that belt one of these days. That's what he said. So it's setting up for Roosh versus Danielson, which I am looking forward to next week. Roosh is actually also another one of the ones, a wrestler that people are starting to see how much of a star he can really be. And I like seeing that because I've always said, because, you know, we almost lost him when he was in the emergency room and he was in the hospital for all this time during COVID and stuff like that. So to see him back on his game, I love it. And I've been seeing people saying that he is what they expected Andrade to be. What do you think about that?
I don't know if I feel the same way. I think that Andrade came into the company with more to prove. And he came in with the baggage of, you know, did he make the right decision of coming to AEW? Because a lot of WWE fans, of course, like, they don't do anything with a lot of these WWE guys. So I don't know if I would say that's what we wanted Andrade to be, but I just don't think that Andrade lived up to the expectations of him.
Yeah.
And I personally miss Andrade on TV. I wish that he was back, and I don't know how long he's going to be out with that injury, and I don't even know what his status is with the company either.
Yeah.
The whole thing is weird. But he tore his pec as well, so I don't know when he's going to be back. But yeah, the thing I really liked about this, again, the same thing I said with Takeshita, AEW is great at just letting the wrestlers speak their native language on TV. And I want to see more of that. And I feel like more companies should do that. Don't make them cut these long promos in English if they're not comfortable with it. Just let them speak in their native tongue.
If you put our comment back up, if you been in some milk, I'm good. All right, as you were saying, I'm running that. Like I said, that whole thing is weird because he's being weird. Y'all already know who he's being weird because, like I said, he's trying to be in the writers' room for WWE, so he's moving really weird because that's where he's really trying to be. And he's messing up the bag over there at AAA. So he's fucking it up. Conan.
Did you get one of those are you watching my podcast DMs?
I got a why you talking about me? That's what I got. If you listen to my perspective instead of just talking about me, that's what I got in my inbox.
I got neither. I know somebody that got one of those DMs, and I was just like, nah.
Yeah, he heard what I said, and he was like, if you just listen to the whole thing, you'll see why I'm thinking like that. I don't gotta listen to the whole thing. I already know what you're doing. That's been your MO since the moment that you got in AAA. You just trying to get a job at WWE. That's all that is.
Well, I think the partnership with AAA is over, right? I don't think AEW's partnering with them.
I don't think so either. I think it is over. It's just Marcella still wants AEW wrestlers working for the company. It's just that Conan is in her ears. So she's just, she's just listening to him. And Marcella, he ain't the one. I'm telling you, leave him alone. He ain't the one. He's, he messing up with your daddy Bill. So yeah, that's what everybody want anyway. And they said that they won't put the belts on nobody in AEW but Kenny Omega, but they only try to do that so they can have a potential person that's going to end up at NXT to pin him to end up winning and stuff like that. That's all they doing. We know we ain't dumb. Vince McMahon did this. We've seen this before. We've seen this before. Like, ain't nothing new under the sun. We've seen this before. So we're going to keep it pushing from that. And we're going to go straight to the main event. which it was a no holds bars match between Darby Allin and also Samoa Joe for the TNT Championship. Darby did end up losing the TNT Championship, but if you're not aware, Darby Allin is getting ready to film. So he had to pass it down. But of course, Darby Allin did a great job at maintaining the statue of the TNT Championship. That was his job. He did his job. So Samoa Joe is retaining, has the TNT Championship back, and it looks like we are continuing the feud between Wardlow and Samoa Joe, and I feel like they are going to add Powerhouse Hobbs into that mix. What do you think so far about this match, and what you think is the TNT Championship?
I think the TNT title went through this period where it just was not hitting, man. I think towards the end of the Sammy and Scorpio stuff, the TNT title was probably the worst it had ever been. And I feel like it's back on track now. I know some people are like, oh, they got to stop hot potatoing it, but I'm fine with short reigns if the short reigns are entertaining. And I feel like this served its purpose because it reminded people that Darby is that guy as a singles competitor.
Yes.
Because really, Darby was a draw as TNT champion. I think people forgot that. And the matches he's been having just for a little bit over a month, he's been great. And to that, even more, him and Joe have not missed. All 3 Joe matches were incredible. And so I think this was no different. I feel like they really killed it in this match. This probably was the best of their 3 matches. I feel like Darby brings out the best in Joe. I don't know if I would go as far as Will said, because Will tweeted like that this was his best opponent in like 10 years. And I'm like,
I saw that too.
Wait a minute. But, I understand why he said that, because I feel like this is the best Joe has looked in a long time.
Yes. Because we was all worried when Samoa Joe did get signed and they said he was wrestling because of his injuries. So me personally, I was like, oh, I don't want to see him get back hurt. I don't want to, but he's been doing the damn thing since he's been in AEW. And you cannot say that Samoa Joe has had a bad run. AEW has done a great job at keeping Samoa Joe and Sting name alive as far as their AEW run. Because we know how Sting's run in WWE was, and we know how Samoa Joe run in WWE was. So they did a great job at maintaining both of their names. We know Sting is probably one of the most popular baby faces of all time. Samoa Joe is one of the greatest TNA wrestlers of all time, ROH wrestlers of all time, and they managed to keep Samoa Joe. Like, we kind of don't really care for Samoa Joe's WWE run since he's been in AEW, and that's how it's supposed to be. And I'm glad that AEW did a great job with Samoa Joe since he's been there. He's back fierce, the same Samoa Joe that we used to seeing in TNA. So we're kind of seeing that, even though he's not in the same prime years, but we still see that same killer in Samoa Joe as he once was. So I definitely agree with you as far as the run for when Sammy and Scorpio Sky had it and things like that. And I was one of the ones that was happy Scorpio Sky won it. It's just that it was unfortunate that
it got derailed. It was just too much going on. You had the Dan Lambert stuff in the middle. You had the Sammy stuff. It was just too much. And I don't feel like Scorpio really got a truly good reign with that belt, which is unfortunate. And then he got injured on top of that, and that cut it short as well. But I feel like the TNT title really went through a struggle after Cody dropped it to Sammy. Like, it took a minute to get it back to prominence, but I feel like it's here now. And I feel like you got to credit Joe and Darby for that in a lot of ways. I really like the storytelling they did in this match as well, because it would have been real easy to just go, all right, well, Darby's got to go away. Let's just have Joe beat him dominantly. But I think the story of Darby letting his recklessness cost him the match was a really good story.
Because that's something that they can build off of, because Sting once said that he wants, Darby part of his last because we know that Sting is planning on retiring this year. So he did say that he wants Darby Allin is going to be a part of it. So I can see something there.
Yeah.
I can see something there. So we're going to move on to Rampage. Let me get my notes out. Okay. We're going to move on to Rampage. Rampage recap. It did pop up with the AEW Trios Championship match. Of course, we had the Elite, which is Kenny and the Young Bucks versus the Firm, which is Ethan Page, Matt Hardy, and also Isaiah Kennedy. And like, if you're not familiar, Matt Hardy belongs to Ethan Page. Ethan Page bought him, and also, which means he bought Isaiah Kennedy or a private party. This match actually, I've been hard on Isaiah Kennedy, but this match he did a really good job in ring.
Isaiah Cassidy.
What did I say, Kennedy?
You said Kennedy.
I'm sorry, y'all.
Kennedy.
I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know. Mr. Kennedy is in my head right now. He should have been in Royal Rumble. That's probably why. But But Cassidy, I'm sorry, Isaiah Cassidy. But this was a match that Isaiah Cassidy did really good in. In ring wise, he was really good. Improved a lot. Matt Hardy is Matt Hardy. I love when he does twist of fate, but of course, Ethan Page be hating. And like I have said on the show, that Ethan Page is you always want to keep that balance on good heels, and he's one of the mid-level heels. You always have to have different type of heels, the mid-Carter heel, the big heel, and Ethan Page is doing his job. So, and I enjoyed this match. Ethan Page is a really good wrestler. And of course, the Elite, they speak for themselves. So I enjoyed this match. It was fun. It was good. It was technical. What did you think about the start off of the Elite and the Firm match?
I thought it was good. I didn't know what to expect from it because it kind of felt like a throwaway match. But I thought it was good. I thought out of the comedy spots they threw in there with Ethan were good. I thought Isaiah was quietly one of the highlights of this match. All of his comeback spots hit. And I mean, it seems crazy that we haven't seen Kenny wrestle in almost a month on AEW television. Right. And so it was good to see him back. It was good to see the Elite in full strength again. And I mean, this was a good, appetizer for what we really want in the Elite versus Top Flight and AR Fox. This was a good way to get people excited for the Dynamite match.
Shout out to the black people that have been on television. Y'all ain't been saying nothing, but I'm just saying. Yeah,
I mean, look, AR Fox has been tremendous. I'm glad they signed him. I feel like Top Flight's right on the cusp of something, whether that be going on to win the AEW tag titles or moving over to the ROH. But I feel like they're hot and they've got to do something with them soon. So I feel like this trios match is a good way to keep them in public consciousness.
Yeah, because they've been having Dante Martin with one of the top stars in the AEW. And then when his brother came back, they kept him in the top tag team. So they definitely have good faith in Top Flight. So we may see them as probably the new tag champion soon, or trios soon. We never know. But I know that they're going to have some type of goal, because they have been leaning on them heavy. Even with Dante Martin's brother being out and everything. They've been leaning on them heavy. So they probably the next one's up, y'all.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to, write the Briscoes off into the sunset and, kind of fantasy book who's next because of, all of the tragedy around it. But when you think of, of the next Brothers team and, how they are, clearly the next up and how much the Young Bucks respect them, I feel like they've got to be the favorites to be the next ROH tag champions.
I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about that. That brings a new light into it.
I mean, even when we were talking about on Grapsity, I was like, man, think about it this way. Darius eerily survived a car accident as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't want to just, fantasy book like, we're just moving on from the Briscoes. But I feel like if they wanted to pick anybody that was up next to win like a tournament or something, I feel like it should be Top Flight.
That makes sense. I didn't even think about the ROH tag titles. That do make sense. Because I don't really see anybody else. I mean, unless you do the Shane Taylor promotions, but...
Yeah, I mean, you've got other guys with AEW that you can move over there. I mean, they've got tag teams that are not on TV. Like, where the hell is Bear County? Like, they're on TV.
I forgot
they're still around.
Like, one of them injured?
Oh, I don't know. Are they?
I think one of them injured.
Yeah, I mean, you've got tag teams you can move.
Shit, Butcher and the Blade.
So
I like them.
But I mean, yeah, if you wanted to pick a young team to be the future of that division, I feel like it's them.
That makes sense. And then after that, we had Swerve Strickland versus Brian Pillman. Swerve Strickland is on this. We about to beat the fuck out of the Nepo babies. The nepotism babies. So Brian Pillman was one of the first. He demolished that boy in front of everybody, in front of their mama, in front of the world. He in front of the hoes everywhere. Like he squashed that boy in front of everybody. But I will say Brian Pillman has improved in the ring too.
Yeah.
For the little things that he did, is he definitely improved in the ring. Now, if we could get more of that, what we saw on Friday from him, then I could probably start like, okay, baby Brian Pillman Jr. Yeah. But he just go back in the booth, Brian Pillman. You get in there. You get in there. I just want the varsity character to end. Like that has to end.
Yeah. This match was a little bit rough, man, and it was certain spots where I was just like, I don't think Pillman was where he was supposed to be. His timing was a little bit off. And I've seen Brian wrestle in person, and he's good. But I don't know. I don't know.
He's wrestling with a chip on his shoulder, and he got to let it go.
I don't know what it is, but I feel like he's better than the way he wrestled in this match. But it was fine. It served its purpose story-wise.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't peep all of the seeds of it until Will broke it down. That the reason why he is feuding with Dustin is that he is dead set against everything his dad created in NXT.
Yeah.
And if you know the storyline going all the way back,
on Twitter.
Dusty gave Keith Lee the name.
Yep.
And that's why he hates him, and that's why he wants to tear that down. I think that's really smart, and I don't think a lot of people have caught on to that, but it's really smart storytelling.
Very smart. I when it was Dusty, I'm like, oh, I hope this ain't got shit to do with NXT. That's the first thing that came in my mind. I said, oh, this about to have a lot to do with NXT because I already know how Swerve personally feel about trips because he let it be known. So I'm just like, this has something to do with NXT. This ain't got nothing to do with this because people are like, why is he to be with Dusty? Like, y'all, do y'all not remember his daddy being in NXT? Y'all like storytelling? Y'all like storytelling? Oh, it has to be storytelling that it's easier for them to understand. My bad.
Griff is injured. That's why he's not on TV. He just had surgery. That's what it is. That's his name. It's Griff. Griff Garrison. He's not on TV because he's injured.
Swerve got PTSD from it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's specifically NXT. It's just the links between NXT and Keith Lee.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even if you look at it this way, Keith Lee was a lot more successful in NXT than Swerve was. You can look at it like Swerve knows he's that guy. He didn't feel like he got a fair treatment there.
Wait, is that why Swerve brought in?
Maybe. I think Parker's improved steadily while with Swerve, because one of my big complaints with Parker is that he come in and he do the big moves, and then he do like the Brock taunts and all this other stuff, and I feel like he's got a little bit more subtle with everything. Like it's growing on me. I feel like Mogul Affiliates is slowly growing on me.
Yeah, that's one of the factions we just gotta kind of let cook, because we do need another heel, and Swerve, like I said, will be he's going to be a phenomenal heel in AEW. So I can see it now. He's going to be phenomenal. He's going to be the force to be reckoned with. So that's one of them things, y'all. Now the other guy with all the tattoos on his face like that, he scares me. He scares the hell out of me. But yeah, I like this. I like where it's headed. And the story is still there between him and Keith Lee, y'all. So it's not so more so of Dusty, y'all. Just let the chefs cook, okay? Let the chefs cook. That's y'all problem. Y'all don't let the chefs cook, so y'all gotta let it cook.
Are you trying to see ain't nobody here to see you, Top Dollar? Nah, man, AJ's great, man. AJ's cool people. I just not yes.
Top Dollar cool, cause we cool.
AJ's cool people, but I couldn't pass upon that chance to make that Temptations joke once somebody said David Ruffin.
Listen, I said it to him. I had this wasn't it. I don't like it. Don't do that no more. I don't care. Listen, you gotta be honest with people that you cool with. You gotta tell them the truth. So?
Wait. No, again, like I said, AJ's cool, man. I do think that turning Hit Row heel was the way to go, because it wasn't working and they needed to change. And I think that it's been better since they turned heel.
Hero. All right, y'all. Y'all want, if you a WWE person in my chat, y'all weren't outraged enough for me. What's the name got eliminated the way she did? She got in there and got out.
Wasn't a lot of black people being booked well in those Rumbles, man.
They sure was not.
I'm just saying, man.
Y'all quiet though.
I didn't.
If
I
it
didn't
was
really
AEW, we would have heard it all. They don't like black people. We told y'all they don't like black people.
I don't really like how they booked Montez in that Rumble, man.
I don't either.
Dirty. I didn't really like that.
They know Montez is next up, and they did him so dirty.
And I mean, it was a good Rumble, but I didn't really care for the way they booked Montez.
They did the black, well, except Bobby Lashley, but they did the black folks dirty in Royal Rumble, y'all, except Bobby Lashley.
Bobby got his moment, and then they got him up out of there too.
Yeah, they did. They going back, the phase of Black Lives Matter done passed by. They going back to their roots. Okay. It was a phase. Like me and Phil tried to tell y'all it was a phase, but y'all ain't want to listen. Y'all called us Uncle Tom. We told y'all it was a phase.
They was over there calling that Wakanda, bro.
He was Wakanda. We tried to tell y'all that shit was a phase. Like they just was. It's just like the women empowerment was a phase, because they was just going on the Serena Williams bandwagon. All that shit was a phase. All of that shit was a phase.
I need them to stop name dropping Serena like that. That Ric Flair quote last week was nasty business.
Yeah, it was nasty. Nasty. And I love Charlotte. I'm a Charlotte stan all day, but don't do that.
Yeah, that wasn't it, man.
That wasn't it. And then in Rampage, we had the main event. We had Christopher Daniels, the ex championship led pack, TNA, whatever, versus Roosh. Great match, actually. Some people are not familiar with Christopher Daniels. Some people was getting confused that he was one of the ones that wrestled against Wilkins at their event, and I was like, "No, that's not him." But he kind of looked like him.
Not, bro.
That shit was funny. I said, "No, that's not him. That's a different man."
That's Simon Miller. That's
Simon. That's not
known wrestling YouTuber.
So people thought that was him, but yes, it was Christopher Daniels. If you're not familiar with TNA and things like that, that's where he's mostly known from. And I believe he's been in NWA too as well, right?
Briefly, yeah.
Yeah, briefly in NWA. So, great. It was a cool match. It definitely showed Roosh's skill even more. We know how phenomenal Roosh is, and then of course, 10. It showed 10. I like him being in the same team as Roosh right now, more than I did when he was with Dark Order. So I'm enjoying Vance heel run with Roosh more than I did with when he was with Dark Order. But we know, we're aware that Dark Order could have been what they need to be if Brody Lee was still here. But since, Brody Lee has passed, it's kind of like, Dark Order, we don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, we fucked with y'all, but we just don't know. We don't have nothing for y'all. Y'all, the main leader that we had is not here, so. And then they tried to with Adam Page, and Adam Page kind of didn't want to,
Listen, man. Page is going to go and reunite with the Elite. It's inevitable. Look, the Dark Order stuff was fun for a little while, but he's going to reunite with the Elite eventually. I kind of feel like they missed their chance with Dark Order as well. Like, I feel like Dark Order was hot at kind of the wrong time. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like if they were hot when the trios titles debuted, you would have more for them to do. But now it's just kind of like, I don't know. It's just a missed opportunity. And the sad part about it is I feel like a lot of those guys are really good wrestlers. Like, I think people take for granted just how good Evil Uno is. That dude can wrestle, but they just don't use him. They don't utilize him that much. But, yeah, I think Vance is much better now in this heel role. I think this is perfect for him. I mean, I've seen the women thirsting over this dude. Why you got a mask over this dude's face? Like, get this guy out here in tailored suits and standing next to Ruth. Like, it just makes too much sense. And so I think this is the way to go. Rampage is a weird show to me because sometimes I feel like Rampage is really good, and then sometimes I feel like Rampage is just kind of like teasers for Dynamite. Like, it's like, hey, here's a way to give these people wins to build up something for next week. Because that was kind of like, it was kind of this match, the trios match, and even the women's tag match. They all felt like that, like, here's teasers for things to come next week. And it wasn't really like fully fleshed out matches or stories. It was just like, here's a way to keep these guys on TV and keep you thinking about them until next week.
Yeah. Because the demos did come out, and the Rampage was the lowest that they had since December. And then one of the demos that was low was, of course, the main event. We know that people, not a lot, know who Christopher Daniels is. And, of course, the women's, which I will get into in women's business, was not, they didn't meet as well. Do we talk? We are in women business. Y'all know how I do the women business after this. Okay, we'll talk about it.
But yeah, I think Rampage had gotten much better because for a minute Rampage was struggling, man.
Yeah,
some of those episodes of Rampage weren't good, but I feel like they had gotten better. And this was the first episode in a while where I was like, this felt like filler.
The time that if y'all notice, the time that Rampage do good is when Mr. Rampage is on there, and that's Orange Cassidy.
I mean, yeah, and I mean they switched up because I mean, for a while, you know, Rampage was kind of the CM Punk show, then it was kind of the Adam Cole show for a minute. Then it became like kind of the Mox show for a minute when he was champion. It just jumped around a lot.
It was who? It was CM Punk show.
The man debuted there. Debuted on the second episode. He was having most of his matches there before he debuted on Dynamite. It was kind of his show at one point, and then it became like the Adam Cole show when he debuted. It was kind of
Adam Cole was Mr. Rampage at first.
It was kind of the show where once they debuted a new person, they put them on last as kind of the main event at the end of the night, and so they would end up on Rampage. And so a lot of people that debuted, they end up on Rampage. Like even when Swerve debuted, he was on Rampage a lot at first.
Mm-hmm. They need to just let the people that they know or the Mr. Rampage, Mrs. Rampage just has him on there all the time.
Yeah, or I mean, Jade had that streak for a minute too, where Jade was like on Rampage every week, and I feel like they kind of
people was complaining talking about if she TBS champion, she need to be on TBS. That's what they was saying.
But yes, I think it cycles through, you know, whoever's like got something going. But I feel like it's been a minute since they've had like a really good storyline going on Rampage. And that, like I said, it had gotten better. This was the first week in a while that I was just like, I'm not really into most of the show.
Mm-hmm. Regardless of y'all have to understand with the ratings, regardless, they're still meeting. Even though if it's low or if it's high, they're still meeting what they're supposed to. Like, Tony Khan did a great job kind of finessing the company into the whole, because Dynamite, they supposed to be at 500K views, and they doing more than that. And then Rampage, it is, what did they say, like, the agreement was like 100K, and it's more than that for Friday at that time slot. I think it was something to that scenario, and they're exceeding their limits. So if you see that it say like it's the lowest or stuff like that, that shit do not matter because they're meeting their demos and they're doing their part. So the network is happy. It's just that they just got to figure out Rampage. We know Rampage is the B class show, but they probably just gonna have the same people that do Rampage and that gets it there each time. Probably gonna just end up being the Rampage, like Orange Cassidy, Jade Cargill, Jamie Hayter, things, you know, people like that. Like I get some people that's like on the indies or they may potentially be signed. I get that, like, but it has to be a name that everybody's familiar with. And unfortunately, nobody really was familiar with Christopher Daniels. Only hardcore fans, only hardcore fans knew who Christopher Daniels was.
Yeah, so, and I mean, I think if you watch AEW enough, it felt very obvious that this was just a match to give Rush a win going into the Bryan match. And it felt like, you know, it was pretty predictable that Rush was going to come out and win this match.
Right. Yeah.
And that's not to say it was a bad match. It was fine. It just was like, it just felt like, you know, run of the mill just to get Rush a win.
Yeah. Pretty much. So, like, if you've been here since 2019, like me and Phil, you already know how it's going to go. We pretty much know how shit is going to go. We've been here since day one. Some of y'all ain't been here since day one. So that's why y'all be confused. That's all. Yeah. All right, so it's time for women business time. Men, you know, you raise your hand if you got something to say. All men stay out of women business. Run the clip, Banks.
All men should stay out of women business because that's women business.
Yeah, that's what he said today. He think he John Gotti. All right.
Here's what you need to do. You need to stay out of women business.
I don't like when y'all play that clip. It's blurry. And she said a whole lot. You got to play the whole thing when Nene Leakes said that. All right, so we're going to get in women business. If you got something to say, Phil, you got to raise your hand, okay? You got to raise your hand. I will call on you if you have something to say about any other women, okay? If you in the chat, y'all already know. If you a woman in the chat, you can say whatever you want, okay? All right, women business. So we're gonna start on Dynamite. Let me get in my professional voice. We had the bunny. She challenged Jamie Hayter. Oh wait, shit. Hold on, I'm sorry. I'm starting off. Yeah. It's before everything happened. I'm sorry. The bunny. She challenged Jamie Hayter. To a match. The bunny. I do like the bunny. I do enjoy the bunny. The bunny has said that, hey, you're a fighting champion. Why don't you fight me? And Jamie Hayter, of course, she's not going to back down of a challenge because she's a fighting champion. And she was just like, yeah, bitch, okay, whatever, we can fight. That's fine by me. They agree into a match, and then they look in the screen and they see Jamie Hayter. She sees Britt Baker getting beat up by Toni Storm and Saraya. So she had to run up out of there and to save her friend. You know how that go. And that's continuing the WWE X girls versus the AEW OG girls. And like I've said, I feel like we're going into the first women's shit. Can't even think of it right now. We getting into that fuel. Yes.
Women's blood and guts match.
Yes, thank you. AEW Women's Blood and Guts. Okay, we're getting into that.
Did you like this segment, by the way? Just
it was a little awkward.
The pacing of this segment was very strange because it was like, hey, something's happening. Can I get it on the TV over here? And it was like, what? That whole thing was weird. The beatdown stuff was fine, but I think the way they transitioned between those segments was very odd.
Yeah, they still playing around with things, but it eventually worked. That was my first time actually. Well, everybody's seeing kind of, Bunny being active on a promo. I mean, she usually is, but not to this part. So it was kind of like, okay, whatever. Fuck it, we ball. We gonna keep going. I'm not. So, on Dynamite, we had Jade Cargill versus Red Velvet for the CBS Women's Championship. If you recall, Jade Cargill and Red Velvet, that was Jade Cargill's first opponent, which was Red Velvet. This was better than the first one. The chemistry was better. And I want to talk about Red Velvet. Red Velvet has improved tremendously in the ring. She read the ring. She knew her paces. She knew her position. And she did a good job. I'm going to kind of carrying this match because I'm not saying that Jade Cargill is bad or nothing like that because she has improved in the ring. And she's gotten to the point where she's able to trust her opponent. And you can tell that she does trust Red Velvet in the ring because they do practice together. And they do work together. They both work with Bryan Danielson and things like that. So this match was pretty good. And of course, congrats to Jade Cargill. She did win her 50th win in AEW. She is the first champion that hasn't taken any losses. So this Goldberg run that she's on, I likes it. I likes it a lot. We didn't have this. We never had a black woman in this Goldberg run, and I like it. She can do what she wants.
Is Jade officially the longest reigning champion in the company? I believe she is.
I think so.
Because I think she broke Sheeta's record. Mm-hmm. So I think she's officially the longest reigning champion in the company.
Yep, she did.
And I mean, I think people kind of take for granted. I mean, it is impressive that she's 50-0, but to be 50-0 and this is her first 50 matches it's kind of a big deal because companies don't give black women the reins like this straight away, and for them to trust her this much early on, even if she may or may not have been ready in some people's eyes, it says a lot about her. And I feel like she's grown a lot as a wrestler. I feel like her promos have improved tremendously. Like, if you go back and watch that first promo, it's kind of rough. And I feel like her presence has improved a lot. I feel like she's improved in ring. I do feel like Red Velvet led this match a lot. But I feel like Jade is just getting better and better at the thing that she's really good at is the big moves. And so the week when she did that counter into the Jaded and that GIF was everywhere, I feel like she just gets it. She understands, like, I might not be the best at having these phenomenal matches, but I am good at this thing. I am good at making that pump kick look good every time I do it.
Yeah.
I am good at certain spots, and that's all she really needs to be good at. I, for a brief second, thought that Red could be the one, but then I was like, no, it's not time. There's still so much more you could do with Jade as champion. But I'm not tired of it yet. I've seen some people that are like, she needs to lose soon, but I'm not tired of it yet. I enjoy her talking shit and beating people up.
Yeah. Put Ty comment, Ty, we don't do that up in here. We don't do that in women business, all right? We don't do that in women business.
People were real mean to Red Velvet at one point too, man. And I feel like
real mean.
I feel like Red is better than a lot of people give her credit for, man.
Red Velvet did phenomenal. She did really good and making sure that she was in the right spot. You could tell that she was making sure, you know, come on, Jay, you can do this. Like, you could tell that she's being confident for Jay. Like, you got this. Come on.
She's pretty much her best opponent. Like, I feel like she's her best rival in the company. And there are a lot of story reasons for her to break the record, but at the same time, she was the perfect pick for her 50th win for the same reasons.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So, congrats to Jade Cargill. She is the longest reigning AEW, the champion in AEW. I need to see a bunch of appreciation posts for Jade to you content creators and all of that stuff. Y'all need to be doing something for Jade because it's very minimum. It's minimum history right now. Because if it was Bianca or anybody else, we'll see it. But I haven't really been seeing it for Jade Cargill. Come on now. Come on.
I mean, when I said something that day, people tried to accuse me of comparing black women, which is not what I did. I just said that it means a lot that they're putting so much faith in a black woman this early in her career because they didn't do that for Bianca. And that's not to compare them, but I feel like there were plenty of times for Bianca in NXT where she was ready and they wouldn't just make her champion. And people can say that, you know, that makes her story unique, that she was never champion in NXT. But I feel like there were times where they should have pulled the trigger with Bianca and they didn't. But we haven't had that with Jade. They've been pretty much behind Jade since day one. I mean, putting her in that match with Shaq is a big deal. Putting her on that big stage with Shaq and Cody right away is a huge deal. Very. And then not only that, she has fucking Bryan Danielson coaching her. And then she also said that Billy Gunn is producing her match. So she has some great, you know, and then of course Mark Henry. So she has the solid people behind her. Hey, do you know who broke that news that she was training with Bryan? You remember who that was? I don't know.
This ain't the time for that, Phil. Not Phil want to rub it in. She said that on our show. Go ahead. Talk your shit. Make sure y'all tune into Grab Soda, y'all. Because she did say it on that show because that's where I heard it from. Because I do tune in on Saturdays. Not you want to talk your shit. We ain't talking about that on her. Don't me bring that up on her. But anyways, moving on to Rampage, we had the Saraya and Toni Storm versus the Renegade Twins. Now we've been seeing a lot of the Renegade Twins on AEW, and I feel like that it's time for them to sign them now at this point. They need to be signed. You could do something with the Renegade Twins. They will make a great addition to the women's division in AEW or ROH. But of course, we know it was a squash match or whatever, but it's leading towards, like we've said, the Blood and Goods, the AEW Women's Blood and Goods. Yes, they have been killing it. The Renegade Twins have been killing it since they've been on AEW. So, Tony, you need to do something with them because they do make a great addition to the company, whether it's AEW or ROH. But like I said, they are building towards the AEW Women's Blood and Goods. And like I said last week, Ruby Soho is the key. So she has to make a choice. Either she is with the ex-WWE women or she's with the people that are with the company that has elevated her career. For, you either going to be a shadow like you was before, no shade, or you going to lead the people that's, help elevate to where you want to go to see the promised land. So Ruby Soho is in a tight position right now because she's in one corner you have, WWE gave me the opportunity. And then on another end, you got, okay, but AEW, put the rocket on my back on what I wanted to do when I was over at this company. So you look like you want to say something.
I think it's odd that out of both companies to sign the Renegade Twins, I would think that WWE would want them because they have a tag division. They don't have a lot of ready-made tag teams, so they make perfect sense for that company. And that's been the thing I've been saying the longest with them is that they've got to start signing tag teams with the women. Don't just keep trying to put women together and make them tag teams. Sign the tag teams as an act and then move them up the same way that they do with male tag teams. They don't do that. And so it's just so strange to me that the Renegade Twins are still free agents. There are other women's tag teams that are the same. I don't get it. And so it is weird that they're still doing like these spots with AEW or doing stuff with Mission Pro because they're good. And I think that they're one of those acts that would fit perfectly on NXT or wherever. But no, I think that's perfect reason why Tony Khan's got to snatch them up now before somebody over there comes to their senses and signs these girls. And they've been great in all of the spots, helping to build the storyline with Saraya and Tony. And man, Tony has been great with AEW, but she's just so much better as a heel. I think her offense looks better as a heel. Every time she does that hip attack in the rope now, it looks like it hurts. I mean, the one in the corner looks rough as well, but when she does it on the ropes, it looks crazy.
She looks painful.
Yeah, I think Saraya looks better as a heel as well. At first I was a little bit skeptical when they brought out the spray cans, but I was like, all right, I'm with it. They're doing the Outsiders thing. It makes sense as a nod to NWO. We already know that Tony is a big WCW kid, so I'm with it. I think it's good.
I told everybody, I said, see, if you ain't look at WCW, I've said this before. I said most of these storylines that y'all love came from WCW. So if you didn't look at WCW, I don't know what to tell you. You missed out. Like, that's one of the things I do commend Eric Bischoff on and Vince Russo sometimes. But WCW was heavy on them stories. So some of this stuff that y'all seeing on WWE or AEW, it came from WCW. Like, I know WWE won the battle, but WCW eventually won a war because modern day wrestling, most of it came from WCW. Everything. The cruiserweight division, we see it mostly in modern day wrestling. Some of the storylines, y'all love the Roman storyline and all that type of shit, WCW.
Yeah, I mean, they were one of the first companies that really worked with a Japanese promotion as well and brought Japanese wrestlers over. And now, you see Tony doing that in a big way with AEW. So, yeah. Yeah, I agree. They definitely did some innovative things that other people took credit for later. But, yeah, I'm totally into this OGs versus Outsiders storyline they're doing with the women. I think this is a chance to really include multiple women in a big storyline, because we've yet to see that with AEW. So, I hope that they do this well. I'm a little bit scared because I'm like, all right, they had been teasing towards the Mercedes stuff for a while. So I'm like, all right, if Mercedes comes in, she's an outsider, but fans are not going to boo Mercedes. So I think that they should bring her in separately if they do use her at some point. Because I think teaming her with the outsiders is asking for trouble, because you've got a natural flow of this thing now where the crowd is booing the outsiders and they're cheering Britt again for the first time in a long time, and I don't think you want to mess that up.
And then, like I've always said, if because people are like, why they booing Saraya? AEW fans, they are loyal to the day ones. And I've been saying that for the longest. They are loyal to the day ones. Like, you could come from WWE, but you're not the day one. And we're not about to automatically cheer you because who you were over there. Unless you certain names. But at the same time, when it comes to the day ones, they're going to be loyal to the day ones. So if you shitting on the day ones, you're going to get booed.
Well, I mean, everything really changed for Saraya when she cut that promo on Britt, and she was saying, "You don't know how to be a star," and people are like, "Well, wait a minute, she's our star."
Hold on, not our Britt Baker.
And I mean, I understood what she meant, but as you said, AEW fans are very territorial of their homegrown talent, and so I feel like they naturally took the hint there. Like, and I mean, it's so interesting that they're building all this about Ruby, will she, won't she? Because it started with Ruby and Statlander, and Ruby got booed when she beat Statlander in that match because people wanted the homegrown talent to win. So I think this is really a natural progression to go with the women's division. It's another one of those examples where I feel like AEW listens to what their crowd is telling them, and they find a way to implement it into storylines.
This is like, because, people love to compare. This is the same as WCW. I grew up watching WCW. When the WWE head was coming over to WCW, they neglected the WCW homegrowns. But this is different. We're seeing something totally different now. We're seeing the fans being dedicated to their AEW day ones. This is something we never seen before. This is something totally different. So it's not necessarily the same thing. Yeah.
So Saraya's had, 4 matches back now? We're at officially 4.
Yeah.
You can see the rust. You can see that she hasn't wrestled in 7 years. And I think that she's slowly getting back into the swing of things. But you can also tell that she's used to working the WWE style. And that's not a knock at WWE style, but I think what gets over in front of AEW's crowd is different. It's the same as what works in AEW promos and what doesn't work in AEW promos. And I think she's still getting used to that. And I mean, I think turning her heel helped because, now she can do things to get heat in the match, but it's a slow process. I don't want to jump on her too much because, like I said, she hasn't wrestled in 7 years.
Yeah.
But I do think it's a slow process, and I do think putting her with somebody like Tony that is a good wrestler is the way to go, and putting her in multi-women matches to kind of disguise it is the way to go, which, yeah.
Yes, because I would say, like, with Swerve, when Swerve got here and he was kind of wrestling like in NXT until he was just like, oh, shit, they like the indie shit that I used to do, so I'm gonna just do that. Like, yeah, we want you for you. Like, you don't have to do that here. Be you. As long as y'all know how to communicate, that's all that matters. Like, as long as y'all can communicate with one another, that's fine. That's what Daniel Bryanson said. Like, he was just like, it took me a minute to what he said on that one interview. It kind of took him a little bit to get out of how we wrestle over here at WWE, and I'm able to go back to how I used to wrestle before I got signed with WWE.
I mean, I can't tell. His first match out the gate was that Kenny match at Grand Slam. Oh. I mean, so, I don't know.
A moment.
Yeah, but, I mean, and speaking of, I think you got to give Ruby her credit too. Ruby has been great since she got back from the injury. I feel like a lot of people didn't appreciate Ruby as much before that, but I feel like she hasn't missed since she's been back.
If you in the comments put on who should be on the AEW team, the day one team and the WWE, because I've seen different brackets. I done seen people put they should have Mercedes, Saraya, Tony Storm. Now, people are thinking Britt Baker is going to end up getting Thunder Rosa on the team. That's going to be something.
That's interesting. Yeah, I wonder, does Athena fall on one of these sides? Because Athena is kind of an outsider as well, and she's already a heel. I don't know. I'm in for it. I definitely think the wild card at some point is going to be Jade. I think that Jade is going to be the final member of the OG's team because, I mean, she is like the most obvious pick for the homegrown talent on the women's side. Mm-hmm. She's probably one of the biggest success stories for the homegrown.
And then not only that, I didn't think about that. I didn't think about Jade Cargill because I was like, I don't know, Jade Cargill want to be a part of the women's blood and goods.
Yeah, I could see her joining in at the very last minute, and towards the end, when they get together, you can see her starting to covet that main title. It's happening.
I ain't think about that. Women business, y'all. See, you never know. Women business. Okay, so my women business of the week, it goes to Jade Cargill for winning her 50th win. Jade Cargill is the women business of the week. Congrats to her. Like I said, winning 50 wins. It's not easy, like we said earlier, because she's not. She hasn't wrestled for a long time. She hasn't been in indies. She's one of the ones. It takes, hard work. She's been dedicated. If you haven't listened to the interview that she's done with Graf Soda, that's with you and, of course, Will and Reg, she is actually inspired to be in this industry. She let it be known that she wants to be a good wrestler, but she is also, I don't have to do it y'all way. I'm going to do it my way, but I'm going to still be the best that I can be. She let that be known. So congrats to Jade Cargill. She's making history. Her story, she is part of Black History. This is Black History Month, and she is one of the longest reigning AEW champion in AEW, and she's a Black woman. It didn't take 30 years to do it. It took them forward. So, period, poo. Y'all can do whatever y'all want to do with that. I said what I said. It didn't take 30 years for them to do it. It took them 4. So, we here now. Okay, so Phil, who is your AEW wrestler of the week?
I am going to go with the king of television, Samoa Joe, just because I think that he has been on an incredible run, both as TNT champion and television champion with ROH. He hasn't really missed. It seems like it was so long ago that guy had a match with Suzuki. He was out there turning red and sweating up a storm. But I just think he's been great. I think the promos have been great since he's been back. I feel like this is finally the Joe that we wanted to see on TV again. I feel like Darby's a perfect competitor for him because Darby has a death wish, and Joe is more than willing to go out there and kill this man. So it's been incredible to watch this guy come back to full form.
All right, so Samoa Joe is Phil Wrestler of the Week. My Wrestler of the Week is going to Roosh this week. Roosh has done a phenomenal job of putting his stable into light. He is also a phenomenal wrestler, and he's also letting it be known that I don't have to abide by American standards on how to do a promo, because even though he did his promo in Spanish, but he let it, y'all could tell that he was serious. Y'all read his body language, and he has the upcoming match with Danielson. So, and of course, the match that he had with Christopher Daniels squashed that man. So, yes, Roosh is my AEW Wrestler of the Week. And we're gonna get to the goofy of the week. My goofy of the week is Ringside News. He's been goofy all fucking week, and it's time to put him in my goofy of the week. He has made some stuff about AEW wrestlers as well as the owner for no good reason, because he don't get invited and he feels some type of way. And he's been goofy. And he also has been saying some stuff towards Saraya unwillingly. He put my Jericho's business out there.
Not my Jericho.
My Jericho business out there. He's mad that he didn't get invited to the drinks and whatever that Tony Khan be doing with his wrestlers or whatever. Ringside News has been very goofy. And if you in my chat, he don't provide no type of news in wrestling. He just be going by word of mouth and interpret like things that he is assuming. Unsubscribe to Ringside News, y'all. That ain't no real news. He's just being messy.
Yeah, I was done with Ringside when they put up that meme of everybody but you has been doing a good job, and it was all of WWE champions for like the last whatever reigns, and the person they put as except was Kofi, and I was like, nah, we're not letting y'all be racist towards Kofi. Let's get them up out of here. And I've had them muted ever since.
Transphobic. He done said some nasty stuff about Nyla Rose, and I don't play about Nyla Rose. Unsubscribe his thing, because he's not no real news. He's just a nasty person that is doing these news sites. So he is goofy of the week. Big on the goofy. Heavy on the goofy. I can't say what I want to say, but yeah, that's what he is. Yeah,
that is definitely Chicago. His goof ass.
What Phil said, because I can't say it just like that. And also, since it's Black History Month, I am doing this month a Black Bidness of the Week. Black Bidness of the Week goes to your local hood witch. It's an online cannabis boutique. You can get your edibles. You can get different type of products. Like any, if you do the, different type of tools. And she's mostly famous for her creams, because I use it on my face. It does help clear blemishes and all type. It's cannabis based, so if you use too much, you might end up high. But it's a great product. She's educational. She also has a blog. She is licensed. She is registered in Texas. If you want to purchase anything, I do have a percentage off. You can use my code. I'm going to give you my code right now. Let me go to it. It is my code to get 15% off on all your products. It is Keeks15. It's all put together. You can get 15% off on your purchases. You put Keeks15, and her website is www.yourlocalhoodwitch.com. You can purchase. I will put her information on my Instagram and as well as my Twitter and also my TikTok. So make sure you purchase from a Black-owned cannabis boutique, your local hood witch. You can get your edibles, you can get your accessories, you can get some knowledge on cannabis. So shout out to Morgan Allen. She is located in Houston, Texas, one of my best friends. Yourlocalhoodwitch.com. You can get 15% off. Use my code Keeks15 and you can get 15% off of your purchases. Okay, so give it up for a Black woman in the cannabis business. Like I said, she's licensed and registered in Texas, so everything, it is legal because she's licensed and registered in Texas. Okay, so make sure you go online and you shop with her. You can use my code. All wrestling fans, you can use my code to get 15% off on your stuff. If you need the code again, just DM me. I'm gonna put it on my Instagram, my TikTok, and also on Twitter. Okay, because you need a little plant sometime. We do need to get to get lifted every now and then. So that is my Black Business of the week. You have any shout outs or any announcements you want to make, Phil?
Nah, I don't. I guess. Nah, I don't have it. No, sorry. I'm unprepared. Look at that.
Well, make sure y'all follow Phil on Twitter and make sure y'all listen to Grapsody every Saturday mornings. Y'all do be coming on around like 12, right? It was like it's
Yeah.
be around 12, yeah.
Yeah,
Make
it's
sure y'all tune
noon
in.
Eastern time on Saturdays on Fightful's YouTube channel. If you don't want to get up and watch us live, you can of course watch it later, or you can listen to us on streaming platforms as well.
What's your Super Bowl prediction? Make sure she don't hear me. All Eagles fans, I do want to say this. I guess I'm happy for y'all for going to the Super Bowl or whatever, but y'all acting like y'all not going against Mahomes. So good luck. Cause we ain't in it. So I kind of don't care because we not in it. But I do want to say that y'all are acting like y'all not going against Mahomes, okay? It's Mahomes. I don't know why y'all think Patrick Mahomes is like this or anybody else, but it's Patrick fucking Mahomes, okay? So y'all need to get ready for Mahomes. Who is your Super Bowl prediction?
I think the Chiefs are gonna win. I don't know. I don't really have a dog in this race, but it feels like the Chiefs are gonna win.
He said Eagles because Jalen. I don't want to speak on that because that hurt my heart.
Yeah. Somebody did make a joke, Kyrie related, and I was like, "See, y'all play too much, man. Y'all play too much, man."
He said, "Go Birds!" All you Eagles fans on here, I guess I'm happy for y'all for going. I guess whatever. It should have been us playing y'all, but whatever.
Who Cowboys?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a friend of the show. His friend's a big Cowboys fan, and he was saying, yeah, he wants to go to WrestleMania this year, but if the Cowboys go to the Super Bowl, he wasn't going to go. And I said, bro, let me tell you, I think you're going to WrestleMania. Do not think that the Cowboys were going to the Super Bowl.
We could have win. We could have win. We going to listen. We going to the Super Bowl in 2024. Y'all, we going to the Super Bowl. We almost there. We going.
Dallas Cowboy fans. Dallas Cowboy fans are almost as bad as Bears fans, and the Bears fans will swear up and down every year is the year. We're gonna be better this year, and I'm just like,
we just have confidence. Why I don't like that? We got confidence.
I don't know, man. Cowboys fans are something else, man. It could be that just because I know so many Cowboys fans outside of Dallas, and every year I have to listen to this is the year, and I'm like, okay, all right, well.
I'm not saying that. Why would I say that? I'm not. I already got to deal with this shit behind me. I'm not saying that. So good luck, birds. Just remember y'all playing Mahomes. That's all I was, what I'm saying. Y'all act like y'all not playing Mahomes. It's Mahomes. Mahomes in Super Bowl mode is different. So good luck, I guess, whatever. But yeah, make sure y'all tune in and follow Rhapsody. They do come on Saturdays. I do tune in every Saturday. I do like hearing their perspective on everything. Probably one of the most logical content out, wrestling content out. Make sure y'all tune in, y'all support. Thank you, Phil, for coming. Thank you for joining and tuning in and joining me on this Monday. I appreciate you stopping by. You was one of the most requested to be on the show. So I was like, okay, I'm going to get Phil on here. I'm going to wait till Black History Month. They was like, get Phil some Grapsody. Get Grapsody on here. I'm like, I'm going to get them. Hold on. Hold on. I'm booked up, but I'm going to get them. I'm going to get them.
Yeah. Hey man, I appreciate it. That's cool. But yeah, I do think it's hilarious that out of all three of us on the podcast, that I'm the only break guy on our podcast, and so every week I'm just kind of like, this is the week. It used to be I was the only Rollins guy, so it's like I have to fight every week to prove my love, man. It's just this is what it is.
Have to prove not rooted for any. Oh my God! Go on, not root. You and then Knicks act like they did something because y'all beat the Lakers.
I mean, Lakers suck. I don't know. Lakers suck. Which I don't care. It has been fun for me as a longtime Lakers fan, or a longtime Lakers hater, rather, to watch them lose from afar. Not getting a whole bunch of wins out of my team either, but at least I can laugh at them from afar losing as well.
Who your team, Phil? Bulls?
Chicago Bulls.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'll just see whatever LeBron go, I go. So I'm not really loyal to a team. I'm loyal to a player.
Oh, you're one of those. How are you not a Dallas Mavericks fan?
I fucks with the Mavericks. But I fucks with LeBron more.
Nah, Dallas beating the Heat in that first year in the finals was great. I don't know. That was one of my favorite memories from that year.
I talk about it all the time. Seeing Dirk play aggressive was beautiful. Man had Chris Bosh. He had Chris Bosh going to that oxygen tank every time he got. Like every time he went to that sideline, he had to get that.
Come on, man. The Jet hitting the flight on him every time, hitting those threes on Bron's face. It's a great series, man.
Dirk played like when Dirk said Kobe told him, "You are the face of the Mavericks. It's time to be the face of the Mavericks, and you got to dominate." Like when they swept the Lakers, that's when Kobe knew his reign was over. So he was just like, "Dirk, you cannot. You got to play aggressive against LeBron James."
I don't know if you remember, but the Heat played the Bulls in the Eastern Conference Finals, and I was telling everybody, I was like, "Man, I want the Bulls to beat the Heat, but I think whoever wins this is going to lose to Dallas." Dallas has been annihilating everybody. This is Dallas's year. And so I knew I was right. What a time. Deshaun Stevenson strutting. We got Hove fucking recording a diss track to Deshaun Stevenson that year. What a time, man.
That was that was a good time. But seeing because that was my beginning of being a LeBron fan, and then I'm rooting for the home team. But then when I'm seeing Dirk, I'm like, bro, Dirk is really working. He working the fuck out of Chris Bosh right now. They about to win. They is winning this series, and I've never seen him play aggressive like that ever. So I knew they was going to win. He was focused. He played during the flu, all of that. Like he was focused. And then the wife had the go-to plates and all of that. He was focused. He was ready.
That's right. He does have the African wife.
He had the full. He was walking in there with his plate.
Nah, man. Dallas was too deep that year, man. They had Sean Marion. They had Jason Kidd, man. I knew they were winning that year.
And then Mark Cuban just being
Tyson
too
Chandler
cheap.
Too.
He was being so cheap about it. Like, okay, I don't want to spend this much money.
Yeah, that was Dirk's year, man. I feel like Dirk got shortchanged because they never should have broke up that combination of Dirk and Nash. Mm-hmm. And I feel like they should have won together at some point. They probably would have won more than one championship, but
yeah,
that is what it is.
He didn't want to pay that money to keep Nash.
Shame.
Mark Cuban, stop being cheap, bro.
You're gonna have to open this pocketbook to keep Kyrie in town, buddy, if you want to keep him.
That's his downfall. Mark Cuban is so cheap. Like he wants. Ain't no sense of you being an owner if you're gonna be cheap like this. Like you acting like some of these folks on the chat. Being, I got the money. I just don't want to spend it all. Then you made Dirk take pay cuts to keep Luka because you ain't want. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just different stuff like that.
Shameful. But
we about to head on out of here. It is 10:05. Banks, get my getaway music, please.
You've mentioned a couple names recently. Who were they?
Listen, man, they call me the problem, but you could call me the can man, because anybody can get it. Africans, Americans, Dominicans, Mexicans, anybody can get it.